Scientists say this can lower cholesterol, reduce your chances of cancer, and cure horniness. I didn't know it needed a cure, but any good reason to drink beer works for me.
I have no idea what's in this crazy looking can, but sometimes you gotta buy a beer just because it looks so cool.
He's Joe Sixpack, I'm Glen Macnow. We're at the Newtown Brewing Company in Newtown, PA for What's Brewing.
What's Brewing is brought to you in part by Montgo Makers, powered by the Valley Forge Tourism and Convention Board. Download the app. By Visit Bucks County. Follow the Bucks County Ale Trail. Go to visitbuckscounty.com/ale trail to get your passport. And by the Conshohocken Brewing Company, now with 5 locations.
It's a place that inspires the dreamers, the overachievers. A place for those who follow the path, as well as the ones who blaze them. So whether you want to go with the flow or rise above it all, visit Bucks County and be inspired.
Hey, welcome to What's Brewing along with Joe Sixpack. I'm Glen Macnow. Delighted to be here at the Newtown Brewing Company, part of the Bucks Ale Trail. We've spent a lot of time in Bucks County this season, seen a lot of terrific places.
A lot of fun. This is a new brewery, first time I've been here, and I'm so happy to see that they're making a lager, a Vienna lager in this case.
Well,
very nice.
That is one of your things I'm drinking. Look at that hazy IPA. I can't even see through it.
There you go.
I love that. Anyway, this is our final episode of the season. We do plan to be back, so don't go away too far. But we do want to thank all of our viewers for sticking with us this year, watching the show. And we love you, and we're delighted to be able to drink beer and be paid for it. So
it's been a lot of fun. We've met a lot of great people, and love seeing everybody on social media talk to us.
Absolutely. Too. At beer_radar, at Real Glen Macnow, both on Twitter. The show is at What's Brewing PA. So all season long, our beer exchanges have been, and I've enjoyed them, kind of styles that went out of fashion was our theme.
Almost like brown ale, porter,
ambers,
ambers. Yeah, beers that have not, they don't have the kind of like pizzazz, so to speak.
Right. So we decided for the last episode, you mentioned pizzazz, we went full clown shoes on this one. Your idea, what do you want to do?
I call them, I had another term for them, but we'll just call them whacked out flavors. Beers that are all over the place with unusual flavors.
Right. The craziest things we could find, in other words, and I'll let you go first. What did you bring me?
This is one, it's actually been out for a year and I've been waiting to try it. This is from Flying Fish, Fried Ice Cream Stout. Okay.
Oh, that's like Wildwood Boardwalk kind of stuff, right?
I guess, I don't know. It's
Jersey Shore stuff.
You do fried ice cream down to Jersey?
Yeah,
okay, that makes sense. Okay, so this is a big beer. This is a 10% alcohol beer.
Oh.
It's brewed with vanilla ice cream, chocolate, and cinnamon. So this is pretty whacked out.
I've never actually seen a beer brewed with ice cream.
No,
right? You put ice cream into the mix?
Look at
it. There you can see. He's skeptical.
Yeah, I am. But, I like Flying Fish, so let's see. Oh, boy.
Let's give it a try.
It's dark.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. Ooh. I love these dark beers. I've really enjoyed these this year. Here's to you, Joe.
All right. Cheers. Fried Ice Cream Stout.
Ooh, that's really sweet. You know what this would be so good with? We've done, in the summers, we've done beer floats.
Right.
Tell me you don't put a scoop of ice cream in there, and that's a party.
A lot of vanilla in it is what I get, which I guess is the ice cream.
Very sweet.
Yeah.
But in a good way, and I said this a lot, that's a 16-ounce can. You know what? Splitting one of these is all I would need. 8 ounces of this is perfectly great.
The other thing I could say about it is it actually does taste like beer. It's not like a fruit drink or anything like that. It does taste like a stout.
Well, speaking of fruit drinks, here's what I found for you. This is Free Will Brewing, right? We know we like Free Will.
Yep.
Sweet cherry apricot mash. It's a sour ale with basically every fruit you could find. So, that's
part of the Bucks County Ale Trail.
Yes, indeed. Well, Does that look like beer to you, or does that look like somebody melted a popsicle?
Yeah, I would say it's, wow. This is typical coming out of Free Will these days.
Yeah, let me just see what we got. As I said, it's a sour ale with cherry, apricot, vanilla, and milk sugar. Trying to find the percent on this baby. I can't, but whatever. We'll give it a try. Here you go. Here's to 7.5%. Oh,
It's a little too juicy for me.
yeah.
It does, and like, I guess there's a little bit of sour beer character in it, but this is more of a, to me, a juice drink.
We need to be pretty honest about our appraisals. No, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so just a few others I found in the Whacky division, okay? This is a Dino S'mores beer. This is out of Chicago, a 10.5% Imperial Ale with graham cracker flour, marshmallow fluff,
All right.
vanilla, and cocoa nibs.
I'll go for that.
I'll be enjoying that.
That sounds pretty cool. You know, actually, I think Neshaminy Creek Brewing actually made a beer once with
Is that right?
marshmallow in it.
And this thing, you cannot figure this out from the can, what this thing actually is, but it's Barrier Brewing. Whose Kids Are Those? Is the name of it, out of New York. 5.2% stout, so it's pretty low in alcohol for a stout. It is a rainbow cookie pastry stout brewed with almond, raspberry, and cocoa nibs.
Okay, so
Top that.
we got about 2 minutes, Glenn. I do want to open up one more beer here because
Okay.
this one has been looking at me on a shelf for a while. This is D9. It's part of their Confectioner Series beers. This is their raspberry cheesecake beer.
Raspberry cheesecake.
And again,
okay.
this is a low alcohol one too, at 5% alcohol, so it's not a stout. I really
More
wanted
of
to
that.
try
I like
this
that
one.
flying fish. That was actually, I kind of like that one. Okay.
So
what
these
am I
guys are
drinking
from
here?
North Carolina, D9 raspberry
stout?
cheesecake. No, not a stout,
okay.
not a stout.
Okay, I was going to
So-
say. Raspberry cheesecake. A lot of raspberry.
Yeah, I don't
Not
get
a
the
lot of
cheesecake.
cheesecake. I hate to say it. It's almost like the hard seltzers.
I want my cheesecake in this beer. It has a cheesecake on the label. I
Yeah.
want to taste the cheesecake.
Raspberry, yes. Cheesecake, no. There you have it. Okay. Well, this is, again, you try new stuff all the time. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I think the winner in this one was definitely, where is it?
The flying fish.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, that
This
was
is good.
Yeah.
Give this one a try. The others, you're on your own. Coming up, you did some great research about all the scientific things, current and past, where they say beer can make you healthier. As two guys who drink a lot of beer, we like these arguments. We'll give them to you coming up next. From the Newtown Brewing Company in Newtown, PA, Joe Sixpack, Glen Macnow. This is What's Brewing. Hi, it's Glen Macnow. You've seen some of our Conshohocken Brewing Company spots on this show, so I'd like to invite you to come and check them out. You can find us in Conshohocken, Bridgeport, Phoenixville, King of Prussia, and here in Havertown, where I'm enjoying an award-winning Puddler's Row right now. It's one of our year-round core beers, along with Type A IPA and user-friendly Blonde Ale. We've also got exciting seasonal beers, like Blood Money IPA, Philly Vice, and our Unfiltered IPA series. And come hungry. From burgers and wings to salads and small bites, there's something for everyone. Don't leave without trying the amazing cheese curds. All of our spots are built for year-round fun, so you can enjoy a cold one in every season. And good news, you can find Conshohocken beer at grocery stores, distributors, and restaurants throughout PA, South Jersey, and Delaware. So get yourself to Conshohocken Brewing Company. I'll meet you at the bar. Hey, welcome back to What's Brewing with Joe Sixpack. I'm Glen Macnow. We're at the Newtown Brewing Company in beautiful Newtown, PA. So much going on. Historic Newtown. It's a really fun place to visit. You got the old bookstores and music stores and so on, right near the Isaac Newton Bar and Restaurant, a fun pub.
Great spot.
Yeah, great rotating list. And look, I mean, they put these flights in front of us. Really nice, diverse group of beers here. I'm going to enjoy The Haze Is With Us.
All right, and I'm going to try the Mango Milkshake IPA, which is another one of those hazy IPAs you like
Good
so
stuff.
much.
So, Joe Sixpack, there are critics out there who say, you know, you're drinking too much beer, it's not healthy for you. Those critics would also be known as my wife, but nonetheless, I know that you may give me and those of us who enjoy a beer or two a good argument for why no, science says this is good.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we've seen a lot of research in recent years telling us that, you know, the various things that science, or whether the beer is good for, whether it's your cholesterol or whatever.
Yeah.
But the fact is, this goes way back. Beer, thousands of years ago,
Yeah.
beer and other alcoholic drinks were considered to be, consumed for medicinal purposes
Yes, I love
as well.
the fact that you went through some old tomes or whatever, the original Gutenberg Bible, and you found some specific examples. Give me one.
Yeah, well, there's this thing called the Ebers Papyrus. It goes back 15th century BC.
Papyrus.
Yes, exactly. Considered one of the great texts of ancient times. It has 600 prescriptions that involve beer as a main ingredient.
Yeah, tell me.
And well, let's see. One of them is for constipation, Glenn. I know that you may know people that have constipation. You mix half an onion in the froth of beer, drink it. This is also delightful.
Wait, I got to put a half an onion in a beer?
In the froth.
I may vote for constipation over that.
And Ebers Papyrus also said this is also a delightful remedy against death.
All right. Well, if I have to eat an onion and drink a beer to ward off death, I'm in. All right.
All right. So more recently, we had let's see. They say that in 1885, much more recently.
Yeah, sure, almost yesterday.
The United States Dispensatory, which was sort of a medical guide that the U.S. put out, leeches draw blood more effectively if they're first soaked in cold beer.
Really?
Remember that.
Okay.
That's good, and that's
Next
good
time
for,
I'm leeching, I'll do that. Now, Joe Sixpack, I know some women who have young babies, feeding those babies. Can we help them out?
That's been around. You always, probably your mother told you that her doctor prescribed stout as a way to improve breast milk, and that's been around for a
your
long
mother
time.
told you that.
All
My
right.
mother. Okay.
So breast milk, you can improve it. It says that in women of suitable nationality and disposition, this is from the
Oh,
diet.
I'm glad we're not going into any bigoted
Right,
stuff.
this
Good.
is out of the book, out of the journal Diet in Health and Disease from 1919.
We don't know what those nationalities are, do we?
So no, we don't.
Good.
So in these women, malted liquors such as beer, porter, or stout may be used, but always bearing in mind that the possibility of starting an alcohol habit. It also suggests that the breast should be massaged twice daily for 5 or 10 minutes. So, this is medical journal advice, Glenn.
Yeah. Honey, the doctor called. No, never mind.
Start drinking.
Yeah. Which is a natural transition to, it's a cure for horniness, meaning that it makes you more or less horny. I'm not sure which is where we're
I
going
don't know what
on
the
this.
point of this is, but this is out of Bald's Leech book, it was called, from the 9th century.
Oh, I got a copy of that at home.
It says agrimony boiled in Welsh beer will reduce male sexual virility.
Oh, well, we certainly don't need
Stay
that.
away from that.
Agrimony is an herb, I know that. All right, and tremors.
Tremors, 1 to 3 fluid drams of tincture of hops, essentially, is good to cure their tremors.
Okay, there was one from, I know you want to read some of these old passages. There was one from the Medical Standard of 1909 or something that is pretty darn good reading.
Yeah, this was like, again, this is the kind of literature that doctors were reading at the time. Hot milk poured into an equal quantity of good ale or beer makes an excellent going-to-bed drink and for puny, restless, and scrofulous children.
Okay, good. Well, don't want those puny children. All right, big announcement right now. All season long, we have been doing our brew down of 32. We started with 32 different beers. You chose very diverse 4 categories. We had the IPAs. We had you help me out here.
The dark beers.
Right.
Actually, we did not have an IPA category. We had dark beers. We had
Oh, that's right. We did
sour
IPAs
beers,
last year.
we had flavored beers, and we had pills.
Okay, and so out of that, we went 32 to 16 to 8 to 4 to 2. The 2 finalists, 2 great local breweries, Ship Bottom, our friends. We've done a lot of shows with these guys. Robert Zarco, great guys. Their Mexican Stout, I named it one of my favorite beers of the year.
Absolutely.
and then it beat one of the Conshohocken Brewing
Exactly.
Company beers. That's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
And Dogfish had very popular Sea
Their
Quench.
Sequence, yeah, that's become one of their flagship beers. It's out there all over the place. And when I, saw this coming down the line, I actually thought Dogfish Head was going to be in the finals. I did not see Ship Bottom coming down to the finals because it's not as widely distributed as.
Well, here you go. When it comes down to Ship Bottom Mexican Stout, Dogfish Head Sea Quench, we got more than 450 votes on our Twitter feeds. We thank you so much. And the winner with 59%, Ship Bottom Mexican Stout. It's an upset. It's a shocker.
I hope that helps this beer get wider recognition. This is an outstanding beer. Definitely worth anybody checking this beer out. It is really a nice
I am
beer.
a big fan of it, and congratulations to Robert Zarco and Ship Bottom Brewing for an upset and a great finish. And as Joe Sixpack says, go find that beer. It's good
Right.
stuff. And all of the 32 that competed, great. You did a nice job with
Thank
that,
you.
by the way. All right, coming up, we buy beers for a lot of reasons, and one reason is because the can's cool. We're going to show you some of the best can art we found. We are at the Newtown Brewing Company in beautiful Newtown, PA. What's brewing?
I'm Joe Sixpack. I love beer and I love travel. I've visited great breweries around the world, and I'm inviting you to join me on my next expedition to France. Yes, they make beer in France. We'll travel the Seine on a luxury river cruise from Paris to Normandy. We'll visit breweries, explore the sights, drink great beer, and maybe some wine. Join me in October 2020. Just visit my website at phillybeerworld.com. Let's discover a world of beer together.
Welcome back to What's Brewing. He's Joe Sixpack. I'm Glen Macnow. We're at the Newtown Brewing Company. Great place, just opened up last fall. I got to tell you, the beer is really good. I'm enjoying the Hefeweizen.
Yeah, they're well-made beers, great flavors. Enjoy this place a
Got
lot.
something going on. It's nice and cozy here. Good spot. You should check it out. All right, so we buy beers for a lot of reasons. Everybody has the style they like. Everybody has the name brand they like. But one thing, Joe Sixpack, that's really changed over the course of the last 10 years is the design on the labels.
Yeah, all right, so what happened here, I think, is that the beer can actually transformed design because it's a larger palette for the designers to work with. I mean, I love beer labels on bottles. Some of them are iconic. I mean, Bass Ale's label is probably the first trademark, I think, in England, if I'm not mistaken.
Hey, even the old Budweiser bottle, the Pabst Blue Ribbon, you know these things, right? I grew up with the green and white Genesee cream bottle. I know those.
Yeah, but these cans, they allow the brewers to really help produce their own or create their own identity. And
palette,
I don't think anyone has done it. Some of the earliest ones in the craft brewing world was Flying Dog that used this artist Ralph Steadman to make their labels.
Those of us who grew up back in the day know Ralph Steadman from the Hunter Thompson Fear and Loathing series, where he did all of the art that looked like he's on LSD, and who knows, may have been.
I mean, great beers from Flying Dog, but also wonderful labels, and I really have always enjoyed them, and they transform really well onto cans as well.
All right, I'm going to show you a few. I went to the beer store and really tried to buy them just with an eye of looking at what the labels were. So let me show you some of these. I think that these guys do generally a really good job, right?
The Chamonix Creek.
Yeah.
They are really, from the start, they were making wonderful labels.
Right. They get it.
That's the John, if I'm not mistaken.
No, this is not the new.
Oh,
the
this
John
is
is
not
good
new.
too, but
Yeah,
this is not the new. I like this. There's a
From
Roy.
Bucks County. That's a local designer in Philly by the name of J.P. Flexer doing their labels.
Roy Pitts does some cool stuff. This is Step Your Game Up, and it's the guy with the mullet, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Another guy, another artist. He's I believe, a cousin or a brother or a cousin of one of the owners that does his labels.
One of the beers we really liked is Funk Brewing. This is the Silent Disco. It's a very 1970s look they get. And part of this is, I think, there's so much shelf space devoted to beer and so many different kinds of beer. There's so much competition that you got to pop. You got to be out there. Look at this. This is Deuce Juicy Double IPA, right? Which, so you just see this on the shelf and it pops right out at you. And
Yeah.
I think that's part of the reason that beer can design has really picked up.
Yeah, Evergreen. They're from Camp Hill. Really, I said no, maybe I may have mixed that one up, but
Yeah, Camp Hill.
yeah, Camp Hill. So
got it.
yeah, it's pretty cool that they are doing. They're really spending some time there. You do need to get some notice when you're on, when you're lined up on the beer shelves. You want to pop off the shelf.
All right, so what did you bring today?
Okay, so one of the ones I wanted to mention. Well, first of all, Glenn, I can't get past
Yeah.
the wonderful Blood Money label from Conshohocken Brewing.
That's been a really good one for us. Pat Hensey is the guy who designed the label. He now runs the beer program at Whole Foods in Wynwood.
Oh.
And he does a lot of labels. He did that for us. He did the Blood Money. He did our Island in the Sun, which was a Pac-Man type of design. He did the Type A. He did the Blueberry Vice. He's done a lot.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool design. I enjoy that one quite a bit. And although the one thing that's neat about this one is that you can actually see
Yeah.
what the heck is in there. Some of these other ones you really have no idea. Like the, where was it somewhere? The one I opened up with there. Well, it's no.
Get
there
that
it
pink
is
one
here.
over there. There it
That's
is.
the
Right.
one. So I have no, like we talked about, we have no idea what this beer is. This is from Finback, called Animal Magnetism. I have no idea what's in here, but it's a pretty cool label.
Yeah, you just buy it because it looks fun. And these days there are beer can beer can collectors, right? I guess there always have been, but now you can really do something artistic.
Yeah,
with
there's always been the collectors out there, and a friend of mine, Chelsea Markle, who is one of the founders of Harrisburg Beer Week, she shared on her blog not long ago, which is called it'sabrewlife.com. She showed how to do your own easy kind of
Oh, there's a wall.
can. So it's a beer can display. Very easy. You can do this in an afternoon.
All right, real quickly, because I know you wanted to line a couple of them up, right? You've got the Mount Rushmore
yeah,
situation
this might be a
here.
little
What is
hard,
this?
but the one thing I wanted to point out, and I'm going to move up here a little bit forward. It's going to be hard for me to do this from this point of view, but if some of these beer cans are designed to sort of look, is that correct?
Yeah, we'll get it in post-production.
Anyway.
We'll be good.
I probably did that backwards, but you can line them up, and they have a whole like portrait that you can put on them.
I think that's great. All right, one last one. MC Escher, for those of you who grew up back in the 1970s, this is a great one. True reality beer.
I love that one.
All right, so anyway, you can have fun drinking beer. You can have fun collecting the art. This is the point. Beer does anything, and that's why it's great. All right, coming up, we're going to talk to Greg Bonstein, who is the owner of this place. Find out what's going on at the Newtown Brewing Company. With Joe Sixpack, I'm Glen Macnow. This is What's Brewing. Welcome back to What's Brewing with the Newtown Brewing Company. We're joined by Greg Bonstein, who along with his wife owns this terrific place. It really, you've done a nice job building a fun, cozy, very inviting spot here, and I'm enjoying your, this is the Chocolate Imperial Stout?
Yes, it is.
Good stuff. Here's to you.
Cheers.
I love the backstory of, you got started, you're a chemical engineer, and you got started because your wife bought you a kegerator and that made you open a brewery?
Long story short, yeah. We got a kegerator. I was buying some sixtels of beer and noticed that they were very expensive, and I was like, there's got to be a cheaper way to do this. So I did some research and started brewing my own beer, and I did that for like 10 years. And
So you're the guy who's the home brewer who graduated, and now look at you. It is the dream of every home brewer. And
I worked at a couple breweries prior to this just to get some professional experience, but yeah, that's how I started.
What did you learn when you worked at those other places? What did you learn that you brought here to Newtown Brewing?
I think the biggest jump for any home brewer that's looking to potentially open a brewery is getting familiar with working on professional equipment.
Right.
So the equipment, working on small batches is completely different than the equipment that we use here.
Did you have any major screw-ups those first couple batches that you thought what you really thought they would be?
Home brewing, yes. My first beer was horrible.
Oh, yeah, well,
Professionally,
same here.
I was lucky enough to train under some really skilled, experienced people that kind of trained me up before, I did it on my own.
One of the things I think is impressive, and again, you're just getting started with this business, you've been open since October, right? Is you've got a nice array of beers. You got the IPA, and you got the Hefeweizen, and you got the Imperial Stout, and you've got the Lager Pilsner, which makes Joe Sixpack happy, and you've got good variety here for a small new place.
Yeah, one of the things that we definitely wanted to do was have a good balance of different beer styles. There's plenty of times when I went out with my wife to local breweries, and all they would have is just all IPAs and a stout. And she doesn't drink IPAs.
One of his main gripes.
We covered that in last week's show. But I'm impressed that you put out a Vienna Lager. Not an easy beer to make. Did you have any second thoughts about producing a lager beer in this kind of size brewery? Because a lager takes a lot more effort to make.
It does. One of the breweries that I worked at prior to this, Triumph in New Hope, they actually specialize in lagers, especially German lagers.
Sure.
So I had a lot of experience, and I love drinking a lager. So that's something that I definitely wanted to try and bring to the brewery.
Well, it does, and I like to ask this question to other brewers. What beers did you drink that influenced you, either as a beer drinker or as a brewer?
I guess my first introduction to the craft beer scene would be like drinking a Yingling back when I was in college. That was completely different than the traditional college beer drinking.
I mean, as opposed to Natty Light. So.
Yeah, but there's definitely a lot of beers along the way that have kind of influenced me.
So Greg, we were at Vault Brewing last week. You've got a collaboration going on with them. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so it's been organized through the Visit Bucks Association. They have the Bucks County Ale Trail, and they've released some different beers, seasonal. So we're releasing the winter seasonal beer, and we collaborated on a recipe together. We're doing a winter warmer ale. We decided to brew it at Vault. They have a little larger facility, bigger brew house. But we came up with the recipe together. So it's going to be a spiced ale with vanilla, cinnamon, nutmeg,
Nice.
honey, orange peel. So
Very nice.
should be pretty nice.
That's a classic style of beer, and it's nice to see it actually being produced after the holidays, because a lot of people forget about that. There's a lot more winter after the holidays.
Not even a Groundhog's Day yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, one last one from me. I was looking at your website, and your bio says he enjoys running cheesy movies and telling people he's related to the Incredible Hulk.
He is a distant cousin of us. So
He, the blue guy?
Lou Ferrigno, the actor that played
that's impressive.
the Hulk
That's
in
pretty cool.
the TV show.
Does he drink beer?
Hopefully, yes.
Yeah.
Welcome here anytime. Listen, we thank you so much for having us. We've had a great time here and at a lot of the places in Bucks County over the course of the season. This is our wrap-up show for the season, but don't get too worried. Joe Sixpack and I, we plan to come back. We know that people have enjoyed the show, and we thank you very much for that. Greg, we thank you so much for having us here today. To all of our viewers, cheers for the entire season. We'll see you soon enough on What's Brewing.
What's Brewing is brought to you in part by Macnow Makers, powered by the Valley Forge Tourism and Convention Board. Download the app. By Visit Bucks County. Follow the Bucks County Ale Trail. Go to visitbuckscounty.com/ale trail to get your passport. And by the Conshohocken Brewing Company, now with 5 locations.